So how are you guys doing? Want to hear something from you? If anybody has something to share. Yeah, Mickey.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's nice to be with you. I want to say something related to what I shared last week when I asked you the question about purpose.
Yes.
And it all came clear to me
Okay.
because after our session on Friday and the session on Saturday with the Italian group,
Mm-hmm.
I felt so much better and it was great until Monday morning. I fell in a hole again. And then what I did was I sat down and I thought I'll just see what happens because there's obviously something that I need to know. So at first it was very turbulent with lots of thoughts of the past, of the future, and it was really disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
But I decided to sit. I didn't I didn't use a timer, so I just decided I'm going to wait and see what happens. And slowly, all this traffic of thoughts started slowing down because obviously I didn't pay attention to it. I talked to it, talked to the thoughts. I said, okay, come, I'm here. You can come as much as you like. I'm here. I don't promise I would listen, but anyway. So it slowed down, I think, after about an hour of sitting, and I was much calmer. So that's what I did.
You were what?
I was much calmer.
Much calmer. Yeah.
Calmer.
Yeah. Yeah.
I but I still didn't know what's happening, and I said I don't have to know.
Mm-hmm.
And then during the weeks, I did this every day, even a few times a day, and eventually, I understood. I think there's something changing in my life, and it's exactly what you spoke about last week about vibrations and frequencies. And then I remembered from before when something big has changed in my life before. I went through this feeling of sort of
Turmoil.
turmoil and insecurity and all of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now I feel I embrace it. So
Mm.
I still feel strange in my body, but I'm excited. I think there's something waiting, and it will manifest when it manifests. So thank you so much for last week because I felt lost last week, and
Yeah.
and now I'm enjoying. I'm sitting longer for longer periods in the day, in the morning, if necessary during the day, in the evening, and it's magic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thank
So
you.
important. So important. What you said, because that's the key to everything. Really, is to be with what is.
Yes.
So the only thing that does not allow us to do that, it's our not wanting to feel something that is uncomfortable, isn't it?
Yes.
So we are very open to feel joy and peace and all that. But as soon as there is something that is uncomfortable in whatever way, it can be either painful or it can be something we don't understand. There is like restlessness, or anything. It can be really sadness, deep sadness without understanding why am I feeling. I don't want to. We go immediately. We push it away. even before understanding what it is, no? And that is actually where the pain is created. So the pain is not as much into what we feel, but in us pushing away and not wanting to feel it, because that creates a separation. And most of the psychological pain is created by not accepting, not wanting to feel something. So we create fractures in our being that are painful. So the key is really such a simple thing, which is let everything be as it is and be with it. Be with your awareness, with that particular feeling, which is uncomfortable in the beginning, like Mickey said. But the more you go into it, the more you realize, well, it's just what it is. Oh, it's sadness, or it's a fear, or it's jealousy, or I don't know, it's simply uncomfortable and I don't know what it is. Sometimes you can't define it even, but it doesn't matter. Just feel it. Just feel it. Just go into it. Watch the resistance to feel it, and then allow yourself to feel it and just let it be there. And you, as I said, you don't need to define it. You don't need to give it a name. Sometimes it's undefinable. Sometimes it's just, as Mickey was feeling, a restlessness and turmoil due to maybe an upcoming change in your life that still hasn't happened, but it's something is preparing for it. I know that well because I went through several big changes in my life. And there is that also. That's very normal to feel that. It's like you're uprooting yourself now. So your whole being is like, whoa, wait a second. I was just settling down here. Suddenly, whoo, everything is changing. It's normal to feel that way, So yeah, but the secret key, the golden key is really that. It's allowing yourself to feel all that is uncomfortable as well. Because otherwise it stays in the shade and it affects your life anyway. It actually creates more pain because you rejected it and it created a fracture within yourself. And you can't bring light to it because it's been pushed in the basement. So it doesn't help. It doesn't help in any way. Try not to feel it. So that's part of bringing light to the whole of who we are, to the peaks and to the valleys as well. Yeah, so that's very important too. Yeah. Nice. Thank you, Mickey, for sharing that. Yeah. It's so easy to accept the side of ourselves that we like now, that make us feel good about ourselves. But then the ego is so afraid to accept the sides that are not so uplifting or that are not normally accepted. Make you feel jealous sometimes. Nobody likes to feel jealous. No? It's like, oh, especially a meditator, it's like, oh, you shouldn't be jealous. Come on. You're more than this. You talk about love, but you're jealous. How can it be, And you beat yourself up for that. And you push it away, but the jealousy is not going to go anywhere. It's just lurking there in the dark. And it's affecting your feelings and your life anyway. So how about you feel it and you go into it and find the roots, because that's the only way to find the roots of something is to go into it. And you might find the roots or you might not, but at least you accept it as it is, and that will make it less painful. And it will make you aware when you're acting out of jealousy, So you will not act unconsciously out of jealousy, which is not particularly uplifting, neither for you nor for the other person. But maybe you will still feel, it's coming up, and okay, I know this, what I'm saying in this moment is coming out of that. And maybe you'll be able to say, look, I feel a lot of jealousy right now. And you'll be able even to say it, which is that in itself is accepting it, to express it as it is, I'm so jealous now. I feel like a fire burning inside of me and I want to destroy something, whatever it is, just saying it discharges a lot of that energy, accumulated. And then you can just sit with yourself and go in and feel it. What does it feel like? Where does it come from? Without pushing too hard. Now, like Mickey said, sometimes going in would also means you just sit with it and you don't try to do anything. And that the more you relax into it, the more things arise by themselves. Insights come. Maybe a memory comes. It's like, oh my God, I remember when, my dad left me outside the supermarket in the car, and he said, I'll come right back. And then an hour later, he was still not back. And I was completely terrified because I was like 4 years old. Plus, it was terribly hot in the car and I was suffocating and whatever, And so every time somebody goes away, I feel abandoned and the trauma is being triggered again, whatever, it can be anything. But just to see it and to allow yourself to feel it, and then you'll be able also to sometimes touch the roots of that, or it can be, I'm so terrified to be alone. Then you feel, wow, it's true. I spend my whole life always with somebody because I'm so terrified to be alone. Good. It's fantastic when you see that, because that can be easily also the roots of jealousy. Anything can be. Many reasons. But the main thing is just be with it. Don't push it away. Use it use your awareness as a purifying fire, and that awareness, the acceptance of that jealousy, whatever that emotions that you don't like is, it acts as a purifying fire. So it transforms basic metal into gold. And that's what we do through awareness, no? To bringing awareness to everything. Or simply said, it transforms darkness into light. It's not easy, and it might not be pleasurable. There might be pain arising. There might be tears, whatever it is, let it be. That is the alchemy transformation, full acceptance. Yeah. Last time I split up from my partner after 12 years. It was a clear, conscious decision. Okay, it's time to separate. But there was, at the same time, there was a lot of love still. And yet it was obvious, okay, we are not growing anymore. This relationship is not helping us to grow anymore. It's time to depart, to separate. But it was so painful because there was still a lot of love, and at 12 years, always together. I mean, it's a long time. So you really merge, you know. And then when you separate, it's like pulling this, it's like umbilical cord, you know, you have all this connection with the other person that are like energetic umbilical cords. So it can be quite painful. And so much sadness and so many tears came. I think I cried for a month. But it was beautiful. You know, once you accept it, I was like, yeah, let yourself feel it, you know. And I would just sit down every day, 3-4 times a day, and just start crying. And it was so cleansing and so beautiful to just let it be, feel that sadness and let it be. And I was like, okay, sooner or later it will end, you know, and it went on and on and on. Every day it was tears and tears coming, a waterfall. What did I call it? The valley of tears. And then after a month, it started, you know, getting less. The feelings, the sadness was less strong, was less intense. And I just watched it, that slowly, it started fading day by day. But I knew eventually it faded away, and I felt very light and happy again and whatever. But I knew that happened because I allowed myself to go through a full month of tears, you know, which if you would have asked me consciously, I would say, oh no, no, I don't want that. But then it happens. And what are you going to do with it? Feel it, go into it. And it's a beautiful cleansing process. It really opens your heart. Your heart grows through that. It's like you actually give your heart permission to feel everything. It grows. It expands because you make it bigger. It has to be bigger to contain all that sadness, for example. So the more you allow yourself to feel everything, the more your heart grows. And it will be able to feel the purity of love, and it will be able to feel also the deep sadness, all of it. That's the richness of the heart, isn't it? We can't just feel love. It's difficult to feel just love and not the sadness, for example, for losing that love, because we project that on a person. Huh? You think, okay, I feel this love because of this person. Actually, it's not. We feel love because we are love. But we're not there yet. So we projected, well, I feel love because I'm with this person. So when that person is removed, you think you're going to lose that love, but it's not going anywhere, actually. And as a matter of fact, I still love this person dearly, and it's a dear friend of mine still. And I love to see her. And if I don't hear from her for too long, I miss her. So I call her or send her a message, or she does that. We're great friends and we love each other. So that love didn't go anywhere. But if I would have, for example, feel hurt or in the process of separation, pushed away that sadness or not allow myself to feel it, I'm sure that I wouldn't feel that love now, because it would be buried under layers of pain still, you see. So, yeah, accepting and processing everything, it's the way we keep ourselves transparent and clean and light. No matter how heavy you might feel in that moment when you process that emotions, eventually you're purifying yourself through allowing yourself to feel it. And you'll stay light and transparent. And then all the love, all the good things are also allowed to shine through. It's like wanting the day without accepting the night, you know, it doesn't work. Wanting to see a sunset, but not wanting the night. Well, it cannot be. You can't see a sunset if the sun doesn't go down, isn't it? No, but I don't like the night. Well, then you can't have the sunset or the sunrise. Yeah. So, yeah, the two sides of the same coin. Anybody else wants to share something before we sit? Abhilasha?
Yeah, I feel so much restlessness then and panic, kind of, that I have to do so much, and then it's very difficult to sit. So that is, but I created myself, and then I procrastinate. I put it aside, and then at a certain moment it becomes so much that I become get this kind of panic about it, that I have to do so much, and oh, and then it's so difficult to sit. And when I sit, I really, okay, then it's good. But to go from this state,
Yeah.
this panic and restless state, to go to sit,
Yeah.
it is almost the other extreme.
Mm-hmm. So you procrastinate certain things that needs to be
Yeah,
done
that I have
on
to do. There's a lot of doing now at the moment, also, that I have to do so much. And
mm-hmm.
yeah, when I sit, I have the feeling now, yeah, okay, but I have to do so much.
I can't sit now. I have so much.
Yeah, I can't sit now, and I can't feel it now because maybe later. And that is a kind of circle. I see that I do that. I create it in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a kind of panic, the feeling of,
Yeah.
yeah.
And what do you feel when you why do you think you're procrastinating? What is the feeling, the original feeling there?
It's kind of too much. Everything is too much. That's my feeling.
Okay. Yeah.
Everything is too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in the night, I do always discourse in the night, and then then I really feel like, oh, now I can really relax and listen to a show. And then, I can sleep very good, and in the morning I stand up again very good. But during the day, when I have these feelings, it's a kind of that I want to run away from it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially when I'm busy, when I have to do a lot. And when I don't have to do a lot, I'm a kind of,
Yeah. Well, one easy solution, well, it's not a solution, but of course, because we have that tendency to create a life that is not so simple sometimes, and there's a lot of things to do at a certain point. So one thing is to simply observe, okay, how could I simplify my life? Is there a way I could do that, and observe, because I went through that too. At a certain point, I had so much to do. I had taken on so much, and I think after I turned 50, I was like, wait a second, I want much more time for myself. I want to sit and meditate more, and I have too much to do, to take care of. So I said, okay, how could you have less things to? So I started selling, properties that I had, or just get rid of things that was like, well, I can do without this, and I can do without this, and I can do without this. And I was also surprised how long it took to simplify my life, because it took almost as long as making it complicated as it was. It's not that you decide, okay, I want to simplify everything and it happens. No, it takes work. It takes doing to undo what you have done. So I recommend to start early because it took me a few years. But then eventually, now I got there. I'm in a place where, okay, now it's very balanced and I have a lot of time for myself. I'm still surviving. Everything is taken care of in a certain way, but it's much simpler. I have less material stuff and I have more time for myself, which is what I wanted. But it took time to get here. A conscious process of simplifying and removing things that were not needed. Because we can easily, it's also the imprint of the society, more, do more, do more, have more. And it's go back to simplicity as much as you can. It's really what we all need to do. We don't need so much. We don't need to be somebody either. And just be simple. Just go back to simplicity as much as you can in a practical way. Yeah, I'm talking about really a practical way. Sit down, watch everything that is you have to do now, and say, what would I have to do so that I don't have to do this? And sometimes there is no solution. You have to do it. In that case, I recommend to just do it with full acceptance. Yeah. Because again, like we were talking about emotions, accepting every feelings, it's the same thing. If there's something I need to do and I don't accept it and I do it because, oh shit, I have to do these things now, there is no presence in that doing. But sometimes you have to. For example, if I'm driving the car on a highway and it's night and it's a rainy, stormy night and suddenly I have a flat tire. Shit, okay. Okay. So I can take it in two ways, I can go like, oh, fuck, of all the time now in this place, in this moment, it's raining, I have a flat tire. Oh, no. So I go out in the rain and I look and I go like, oh, fuck, and I start taking the tire off. And in the meanwhile, I curse all the way through. And then I put the new tire, the spare tire on. Yeah. And I do it. And I go, or I can simply accept what is happening. Well, there's a flat tire. It's nobody's fault. I cannot change this. Let me go out and it's raining and I get wet and I go like, wow, I can't even remember last time I felt the rain on my face and enjoyed feeling that. And then I go like, okay, let me see if I remember how to change a tire, and I just accept that. I do it. It's not that I particularly enjoy it, but I don't curse all the time while I do that and make hell for myself. That doesn't help anything anyway. So there's an acceptance of what I have to do. Simple as that, no? So this is an example, a silly example, but we can apply that to everything. There are things that we just have to do them. I mean, the car is not going to move if I don't change the tire. It's simple. Am I going to love to change the tire under the rain? Maybe not, but I have to do it. So I might as well enjoy it. Or just do it with presence, even if I don't enjoy it, just do it with presence and don't, make hell to myself about it, So there are things that, okay, but we can also observe how our life is constructed and realize, wow, all this there's so much going on in this life. How can I simplify it? And that is really your work, to just simplify it and remove all that is unnecessary. And go back to make it as simple as possible. Because that will give you space to be with yourself more. So it's normal to feel overwhelmed when you come to a point where you obviously you created a life that has too much going on. So it's good to see it. It's good to see it, yeah, and then take a very pragmatic approach to it. Very practical. Watch it. See, okay, do I need this? Do I need that? Is there a way I cannot in the future? Maybe I have to do this thing still for a little while, but then I'm starting a process that will not be there anymore. Yeah, that's what I did. And some things, it took me 2 or 3 years for them to exit my life, but eventually they did because I consciously wanted that. I planned it. It's like, okay, Shastro, simplify, simplify, simplify. And a few years later, I'm definitely there now. I'm there since a few years and I'm enjoying it very much. So I can recommend it to everybody. Yeah. Thank you, Abhilasha. That's a very important point. Yeah. Okay. Maybe we sit a little bit together, and then if there's some more sharing, we can do it afterwards. So find a comfortable position to sit. If you can, with your comfortable, but without falling asleep. Don't make yourself too comfortable. It helps to not to lean back on something, or if you have to lean gently, because when you lean a lot back, you give a lot of energy to whatever you lean on, so it's easier to fall asleep. Anyway, we don't sit for long. Half an hour is not long, so you might not even have time to fall asleep. Yeah, and I will use a little sound once in a while, so I'll wake you up. I'll use a little Tibetan ball that has a nice deep sound, and when you hear that sound, remember to be present. Remember the present moment, in case you drifted away. And if you didn't drift away in that moment, just use that sound to maintain you, to help you to stay in the present. And then there will be a high-pitched bell 3 times, and that's the end of the sitting. So when you're ready and you feel comfortable, you adjusted your body so you feel comfortable. You can close your eyes. And start by feeling the body from inside. How does it feel? Is there some area that can be relaxed a little more? Then do so. Let all tensions that are still there fall as if they're falling down towards the earth. Let them fall. Give them all to the floor or to the earth itself. Allowing yourself to feel the weight of the body. on the cushion. Let your body also sink and fall a little bit more as you relax it. Starting slowly to feel rooted more into the ground, maybe like a big tree with deep roots. Or like a mountain with a wide base that is part of the earth. That will make you feel that you're here, exactly in this place where you are sitting in this moment. Be completely here. And the top of the mountain is the tip of your head. So feel a little gentle uplifting, like a little thread attached to the top of your head from the sky. If you can't feel it, you can imagine it. The sky energy, very subtle, but it uplifts you very gently and help you keep your neck aligned and your spine erect. You feel that on the crown, on the top of your head. So feeling very, at the same time, feeling very rooted, grounded into the earth, and connected to the sky from the top of your head. In this way, you're sitting in balance between these two energies. And right in the middle, there is a space, your inner space, that can also be perceived. It's a space where all experiences happen, where you perceive everything. You might perceive the movement of your breath right in the middle of that space, as if floating in that space. Observe the movement of the breathing that happens by itself. And relax. Without tempering, without changing anything, simply observing. As you observe the breath, it might, by itself, slightly slow down. That is okay. If it happens by itself. It might become a little deeper. That is okay. Notice if your belly is moving gently when you breathe or not. Notice if your diaphragm is relaxed or not. And allow the breathing itself to relax the areas that are still holding. Let your breath go there as well. Arises. If a thought arises, you watch it arising. It will exist for a while, and then it fades away. Usually in the moment you look at it directly, it starts fading. You instead get involved with it. You get identified with it. Usually will have a longer life. It's okay. Notice that. A thought is nothing but a little piece, fragment of our story of this egoic self that perpetuates, keeps existing through those thoughts. It is okay. We observe that. And we remember it's just a story. And then we let it go. It has nothing to do with the present moment, to this moment, which is the only thing that is real. Everything else is a story, especially when it's in the mind. Yeah. So we observe the story arising, going through its cycle and then fading away. We also observe any sensation, perceptions, feelings. And especially we enjoy to rest between two experiences, between two thoughts, between two perceptions. Just keep allowing yourself to rest in the space between two thoughts, in the space between two perceptions, two experiences of any kind. When there is nothing happening, just allow yourself to be present in that space as well. And slowly coming back to the group. Okay, so we'll leave a little space in case somebody wants to share something still before we go. Yeah, Rafa. Mm-hmm.
It was a little bit difficult because I had no connection anymore. I had to come back.
Uh-huh.
But it was really important. A lot of time when I'm meditating, I'm sensing something here.
Around your
heaviness.
neck. Chest, upper neck and chest.
Yeah. Sometimes here, and sometimes here. And I was thinking always that is it my need to take a position to say what's going on, and I was working with this, but it's always calming. And today it was calming, and then I was sensing a lot of warmth or love, and then was not that present, and it was away or a little bit, and but I was trying to listen to this little bit, and then yes, to this, and the thing was coming the word yes. To say yes to me, to my life, to the world, to the people that made me angry, to the people, to say just yes. That's love, to say yes. And that something different than to accept it. I accept it. Yeah. But to say, do you know Yoko Ono? Yoko Ono?
Yes, yes.
There is something that she was building in her exposition. I love it. There was steps like
a ladder.
Yeah, a ladder, and you have to go there. And there was lente di ingrandimento.
Yeah, and magnifying lens.
Yes, and on the top it was a little bit yes. And this commitment to say yes, it what make me free then.
Beautiful. Yes. 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 Yes.
Yes.
Exactly. Such a short word and so magic.
So powerful.
So powerful. Yeah. It's actually a very interesting experiment. You can do it when you want. Anybody of you. You know, you can just stand there, close your eyes and say no, and see what you feel inside. Do that a few times out loud. And then take a break. Then try and start saying yes and feel what's happening in the body. You'll be surprised what a difference, what a different energy that those two little words create. You will feel your body, the whole energy vibrating at different frequency, completely different. Try it later when you have time. It's very interesting. Yeah. So, and that's what we were talking about earlier, isn't it? Yes means yes to what is happening, to what is. It's another way to say accept, simply accept what is. Accept who you are, what you are, how you are. Accept life the way it's happening. Which doesn't mean that doesn't mean that if there is something happening that you don't enjoy, you cannot change it. Right? Let's not go into a misunderstanding here. But if let's suppose you're unhappy deep down about something that is happening in your life. If you don't allow yourself to feel that unhappiness, to feel that sadness, or to feel that anger or frustration, whatever feeling is being generated by that particular thing, if you don't allow yourself to feel it, it will run your life in an unconscious way and nothing will ever change. You'll be miserable, you'll be edgy, you'll be whatever, and nothing will change. If you allow yourself to feel it, you feel, oh, wait a second, let me sit with this. I don't know why I'm feeling like this. Let me sit with it. And you realize, oh yeah, I'm not happy. About what? Oh yeah, I'm not happy about the way these things is happening or the way my life is, whatever it is. Then, yeah, through acceptance, you simply brought understanding to something. Why am I feeling unhappy? Simple, no? If you push it away, you'll never figure it out. In the moment you accept it, you're able to feel it. You allow yourself to feel it. You see where it's rooted. Then you can do something to change that. Like we were saying before, Abhilasha, no? Then you can pragmatically sit down and say, okay, this thing has to change. It's not making me happy. Simple, no? But the first step is saying yes to the way you feel and don't push it away, isn't it? Yeah. So when we are fully conscious, then we're really free to choose. When we are fully conscious, that's when we are really free to choose. So to be fully conscious, we have to say yes to whatever is, whatever we feel, whatever we experience. Bring consciousness to everything. Then we are really choosing. We're free. When things are left in the subconscious and they're not, we cannot see them, but yet they're acting out through our emotions, we're not really free. There is no choice yet possible, no real choice.
And
Yes.
also with the things that happens outside with my ex-husband, I don't know, or
Yeah.
as what I recognize when I say yes, I accept it, and then I'm present.
Yes.
I'm free. If I say I don't want it,
Mm-hmm.
I'm always yeah.
That's what happens. Typical as an example.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That's why I was saying psychological pain is created by not accepting. Yeah.
Can I say something?
Please, Maria.
Okay. In addition to this, it was for me, I had both the joy and the sadness, I have feeling of being disconnected in my childhood, and when I was in this meditation, I felt the sadness and I felt the joy that it is that there are people, and not only people, the nature, everything around me. Now I feel connected, and both could be there, and it was, and I think it's that I can feel the joy. I had to feel the pain, and both were there, and both were fine.
Yes. Yes, exactly. In order, you cannot feel the joy if you don't allow yourself to feel the pain.
Yeah.
Really, really. Yeah. And eventually we observe both of them. You know, you realize, oh, but there is some consciousness that is observing, that is experiencing the pain, and there is consciousness that is experiencing the joy. I can be aware of separation, and I can be aware of connection, and I'm aware of the feeling, the emotions that those two things generate. Eventually, so deeper, after having done that work, even a deep work is that keep going back to the source that is experiencing everything, and you realize, well, there's no difference between pain and joy. They're two experiences, you know, they're just fine, that's what they are, and I'm neither of them, and that I am the consciousness that is experiencing both, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That's the next step. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Maria. Okay. Then I'll let you go to the rest of your day. And I'll see you next Friday. And see if you can simplify your life, huh? All of you. Especially if you feel like, well, I don't have time to sit. I would like to, but I don't have time to. Well, something, you got to work on that. Simplify something. Simplify. That's the key word today. Simplify. Spend time with yourself whenever you can. And then you'll have much more to share with the others out of that. Okay, thank you so much for being here with your presence and your love. And hold on, I want to see if I can unmute you. Oh, here it is. Do you see something on your screen?
Yes.
That says unmute yourself.
You got it.
Namaste. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
See you next week.
Yes.
Bye.
Ciao.
Thank you all. Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao.